Did the commission do justice?
We really feel sad for the medical complications that Madam Jayalalithaa had been suffering.
One of the standout features of the commission report was Jayalalithaa could have been saved.
Madam Jayalalithaa has been recommended for an angio. Would there be a 100% possibility for a revival is $1 million question. But the commission is yet to give a solution for that.
The judge premised his report, which basically finds fault with 4 people.
At the same time, AIMS doctors say that we don't find anything suspicious over the treatment protocol that was given to Jayalalithaa.
Welcome to the viewers of DT Next. In this maiden episode of DT Originals, we'll be discussing one of the sensational topics that's been doing the rounds. It's the Justice Arumughaswamy Commission of Inquiry, which probed the death, or I would say the circumstances and situations leading to her hospitalization and the treatment provided to her till her unfortunate demise on the night of December 5th, 2016. So there are many aspects of the report which is available for public glare now, and we will focus on some of the grey areas as well as the mysteries that unfolded, or as they were expected to do, or which the commission failed to do, or did they do justice. So many questions remain answered and unanswered in the commission findings, and some say it's opened a Pandora's box. For some others, they would say it's a mystery unravel. So let's discuss the vast and the plethora of areas that's been discussed in the Justice Arumughaswamy Commission of Inquiry. So with us we have my good friend Koteeswaran, who's been covering ADNK. So we'll discuss. So to begin with, there are 2 areas, or I would say the terms of reference of the commission has been quite clear. One is the circumstances and situations leading to her hospitalization on the intervening night of December 22, 2016, and the subsequent treatment offered to her in the following 75 days till her demise on the night of December 5, 2016. So for coming to the first area, the area of circumstances leading to her hospitalization, what do you think happened, and did the commission do justice? What was the commission's finding, Koti?
As far as the initial days have been concerned, like the 75 days of hospitalization, if I'm not wrong, I think the first few days, there's not been a major issue on that, because even Arumughaswamy Commission has also recommended the same thing. They say that the initial day of hospitalization, Sasikala was there, other followers of the party, then there was some sort of transparency. That is what the commission says.
Yeah, if I may quote the commission, he puts it categorically. He says on the last night at Post Garden, Ms. Jaya, there was nothing unnatural or suspicious in the manner in which she was taken to the hospital, and he says the question has been answered. That is the first part of the commission, the terms of reference of the commission. So the second part, the treatment.
The second part, the treatment. See, for example, the treatment, there have been so many intervention of doctors, starting from the Apollo Hospital specialist, then a team of doctors from AIMS, they came in, then the famous doctor from UK, Richard Bale came. So it's a series of doctors, series of specialists completely took care of Jayalalithaa. But the logic of taking the correct decision, particularly in reference to treatment, because now going by the Arumughaswamy report, we really feel sad for the medical complications that Madam Jayalalithaa had been suffering. It's not one particular case. It looks like a case of a geriatric complications followed by routine diabetic imbalance. All those things have been there.
The report says she had uncontrolled diabetes, and diarrhea,
bronchitis,
and thyroid, and so many factors.
Yeah.
So obesity.
Yeah, it's a complicated case of medical treatment. So you need different team of doctors to take a final decision. But what exactly was an issue, according to me as a journalist, is there's no legal hair. If there was a legal hair, these questions couldn't have arisen, because even if Madam Jayalalithaa has been recommended for an angio, would there be a 100% possibility for a revival is $1 million question. So in these kind of cases, particularly when the patient health is not very where the person can be subjected to a surgery or something like that, I think it's a crucial call to take. I think there was some sort of confusions, and I think commission has made a big portion of the findings using this particular decisions. whose call was that, why it was not taken. I think now after everything has been over, to ask these questions is an easier thing, but to take a decision at that time, I think I believe that the doctors would have definitely done a good job. It's not that we go to hospital to be declared of no use. So some sort of expectation was there, and I understand the corporate hospital was also trying to do their best. But I think rather than the medical findings, this particular case has become more political, and finally it has failed to give the answers. The followers of Amma, particularly, they want to know the AIDMK card is what exactly happened to their Amma. I think the commission is yet to give a solution for that, because this case is now again afresh.
If I may interrupt, one of the standout features of the commission report was Jayalalithaa could have been saved had an angio been done, as was advised by the US cardiothoracic surgeon, Mr. Samin Sharma, if I'm right, and another Stewart from Johns Hopkins University in US. Two doctors suggested angio, and the biggest question raised, or the mystery, again, instead of unfolding the mystery, the Arumughaswamy Commission raised another mystery, and he has raised another pertinent question. Did the doctors who treated her regularly at Apollo and the consultant who was sourced from UK, Dr. Richard Bean, did they overlook the advice of two other doctors to perform an angio on Jayalalithaa? The commission is of the view, I would say the view, that she could have been saved had an angio been done on her, as was advised by the two doctors, the cardiothoracic surgeons.
Yes.
Do you think that holds water? That was one of the standout features. In fact, I would say the judge premised his report, which basically finds fault with four people. One, Sasikala, VK Sasikala, who was a close friend, and the former health minister and the health secretary, former health minister Vijay Bhaskar, and Dr. Radhakrishnan, who was the health secretary, and the then chief secretary, Mr. Ramamohan Rao. These four were faulted. They were found fault with by the commission. And one of the main reasons they were found fault with was the line of treatment provided, and which again boils down to reduces to the singular question of why was she not subjected to an angio, which is why I call it a pertinent question. So to premise your entire commission or accusation, I would say, on four people, as well as which also includes, the report also may make some criticism or finds fault with the hospital which treated her. So to premise your entire argument or to come to a conclusion based on a recommendation of a couple of doctors, whereas there is another set of doctors who considered it wise to not go for an angio at that point of time. So do you think the argument of Justice Arumughaswamy hold any water? That to reduce everything to one angio, when the lady was actually suffering from, she actually went through a syndrome, like collective of diseases, I would say. So do you think it really holds water?
No, not exactly. See, Justice Arumugha Commission his specialization, I would say, is into the legal terms. But
True.
Here this is completely a medical call. When a person, particularly when the age is not by a side, and when you have a chronic sort of a illness or a syndrome, what you call it, you always need a team of doctors to decide on these things. These are like very crucial decisions. If there is a legal hair, he or she could have taken a clear-cut decision. But when you give the chance to a panel of doctors, and we should not forget that a team of doctors from AIMS also visited Madam Jayalalithaa. And at the same time, AIMS doctors say that we don't find anything suspicious over the treatment protocol that was given to Jayalalithaa. But whereas Arumughaswamy Commission contradicts with the AIMS report. So rather than giving a clear-cut,
the AIMS report gives a clean sheet. They did not find fault with the line of treatment provided to Jayalalithaa.
Yes.
And they said whatever treatment she was given at Apollo and the treatment advised by the doctors it stuck to the protocol.
In fact, the AIMS team was also monitored by the Apex Court, because there were also legal litigations.
The AIMS board was constituted based on the order of the Supreme Court. Okay.
So we have a set of doctors who say that the best of treatment was meted, and here is a commission which says that the treatment is a problem. To me, frankly speaking, Jayalalithaa was like she was like a treasure trove for our followers. and not I think these kind of serious things, because this is not particular about a political party leader being hospitalized and not taken care. This is also something to do with the chief minister, and in fact
I think that's a bigger question. More than the cadre of ADMK, the chief minister of the state was on her deathbed. And eventually she died. So it's the question of the citizen or the people of Tamil Nadu knowing if she were provided quality treatment, and if the justice was done by the doctors or whoever were with her or the then rulers.
I think the problem here started with the lack of transparency, because we have to recall the first press release when the DIPR issued. They said Amma is just having a fever. The Jayalalithaa is having fever, and
which is actually true.
It might be true, but the normal people,
because in the preceding 3 days of hospitalization, she had very high fever. In fact, the report quotes the doctor as giving her paracetamol tablets for the first 3 days, leading to her hospitalization.
Exactly, but it doesn't stop there. For a fever, for a casual fever, you don't get admitted into the ICU. So that is where the problem, the trick started. So I think in this case, Madam Jayalalithaa had always been like not very open about her public visit or medical complications or what exactly, unlike the case of Kalaignar Karunanidhi. Though Karunanidhi died a year later, they were not much about political debate or sensationalization.
She preferred privacy, which
which she is entitled.
As is any individual.
But what happens exactly when a high profile chief minister is, as you said, as you quoted, like is on a deathbed, and there is restriction, there is data being not shared, when there is not much discussed in public, obviously these things lead to some sort of rumors and things like that. The rumor mills doesn't stop there, and it gets running, and finally it escalated into a 75-day episode. Finally they were also like memes and jokes saying that Amma ate Italy, Amma had this one,
which
juice.
She did.
Yeah,
she in fact took vanilla, pista and strawberry.
So one side we say this complication, the case is so complicated where you need the intervention of top doctors from other countries. At the same time, here the medical report or the people who have been monitoring this particular case is that as you said, she ate ice creams and cakes and sweets and all those things. So I think this particular case is being politicized. This is what I could relate.
Who did it?
I think it has to be like for some, the biggest beneficiary by delaying this would be the people in the power. Because you just tell me, Karthikeyan, correct me if I am wrong, this particular case, now 5 years have gone. There is a commission finding fault with few people, 4 people, to start with Sasikala, then the officers. Now, where is the solution? Again, it is going to be a fresh investigation. So, this 4.5 years of window period, this is 5.5 years of window period. This window period, I think, in the eye of law, is a waste of time.